Good morning, or good afternoon, depending on when you see me. So, I have a sick kiddo today, so I'm going to do the infinitive notes with you through our little recording here. So, infinitives are the last type of verbal phrase that we have to talk about. We've talked about gerunds, we've talked about present and past participles, and now we've got these infinitives. Those of you who have had a foreign language class should recognize these. Infinitives, it says the tricky verb-like nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. So here's what they are. Infinitive characteristics. They are word phrases that contain to followed by a verb. So to hide, to call, to name, to surmise, to allude are some examples. Now we've already talked about to as a preposition. So if you have your little blue sheet, the prepositions on there do include to. However, it has to be a direction of some sort. So like to the door. That would be a prepositional phrase. If it's followed by a verb, then it's an infinitive. So they're pretty easy to tell because if you've got a verb after it, you have an infinitive. The two words together function either as a noun, an adjective, or as an adverb. So that's why we did these last, because gerunds always function as nouns, participles are adjectives or adverbs, infinitives can do all three. But don't let that stress you out because they're much, much easier to identify because they have to have to followed by a verb. So, here is a chart that shows the functions that an infinitive can have in a sentence. You are probably going to want to pause on this screen in order to make sure that you get these down because it can do the things a noun can do. So it can be a subject, it can be a direct object, it can be a predicate nominative, a predicate noun, it can be the object of a preposition, it can be an adjective, or it can be an adverb. Okay? And so in this case, let's go through some of the samples that I've given you. It says, subject, to walk in the shoes of others is difficult. What is difficult? To walk is. So therefore, this is the subject of this sentence. In the shoes of others is prepositional phrase, so we would mark that out if we were labeling this. So you just have subject is difficult. So helping verb, action. Direct object, the survivors promised to remember. What did they promise? That's the verb. They promised to remember. So this right here is a direct object. Predicate nominative, predicate nouns. We've got to have a linking verb when we have that. The purpose of a yearbook is to record a school year. Purpose equals to record. So that's a predicate nominative. Object of a preposition. This is the one that might be a little confusing to you because I just said that to itself can be a preposition. You know, to the store, to the door, things like that. Those are prepositions. However, in this case, he had no choice except to relent. This is the object of the preposition because the preposition here isn't to. The preposition is except. What did he have to accept? Or excuse me, what except what did he have to have? It's to relent. So this is the object of this. This is the noun that goes with this preposition. Then we have an adjective describing a noun. So the director of the camp is the person to notify, just describing the person. We have an adverb. Remember, adverbs can describe a verb, an adjective, or an other adverb by answering where or when, to what extent, in what manner. Afraid to speak. So afraid is describing he. So that makes afraid an adjective because it's describing a noun. To speak is what's describing afraid. So that makes it an adverb. And then we haven't talked about these appositives yet. So we haven't learned this yet. Now it's the time. So appositives are super easy. Appositives are a phrase set off by commas that renames or identifies. So his goal to travel was never realized. So his goal is to travel. This is renaming this category. So like you could say like Miss Gray, a teacher, was absent today. Miss Gray, comma, a teacher, comma, was absent today. A teacher would be renaming or identifying me. That's what an appositive is. Very simple here. And so it's set off by commas. If you need to look up appositives to understand what that is, you can. This is something, though, that is not going to be identified on your test. I just wanted to introduce it to you for the first time today. Okay? So, you can see infinitives in any one of these situations. All right, so let's do some practice. here is your sentence. We only have one example of infinitives today. It says, to wait seemed foolish. So, to wait seemed foolish. Let's go through our steps. It says to wait is to plus a verb. So what are these words' functions in the sentence? On the test, you're going to have to identify what is it doing. Not just that's an infinitive, because that would be easy. You just circle all the things that say to plus a verb. You have to tell me what is it doing in this sentence. So let's practice. It says first eliminate any prepositional phrases, adjectives, and adverbs. Well, I don't see any prepositional phrases. I see foolish, and foolish is a description. And so I'm going to get rid of foolish because I think foolish is what it seemed. So I think that this is going to be an adverb describing this verb. So who or what seemed, since this is my verb, to wait seemed, which means that to wait is the subject. Let me make that go away for a second. Okay. We know that their nouns are pronouns always, so that means that this infinitive is acting as a noun as the subject of our sentence. Okay, so it's your turn. Underline the infinitive in the sentence below. In the space provided, identify the function of the infinitive. So if you're identifying the function, okay, so we're identifying what's going on here. So I don't see any prepositional phrases because I know that this isn't one because it has to plus a verb. So that means it can't be a prepositional phrase. Do I have any adjectives or adverbs? Well, I think I might, because this seems to be describing strength. So let's look at our parts. What's the subject? He is the subject. What's the verb? Lacked. If I can answer who or what about the verb, that means I have an object. I can. Strength is what was lacked. Guys, and I put the notes for the direct object, indirect object, predicate, nominative, predicate, adjective. I put all that in the Google Classroom stream with this recording. So if you need to review that for the test on Thursday, it's there. And so I think that strength here is resisting, or excuse me, to resist is describing strength. So if I were to label this, I would say that this is an adjective describing strength. All right, I want you two to do the other ones, and I will go over these with you on Tuesday. And once you finish those, it says add this to your verbal notes. So this is not in there, and I want you to put it because I want you to know this for sure. Remember that the word to plus a noun or a pronoun is still a prepositional phrase. To school, to the car. That is a prepositional phrase. Only to plus a verb is an infinitive. You need to put this in your notes because I do not want you getting confused on the test with prepositional phrases that start with to and infinitives that start with to. To plus some sort of verb is an infinitive. All right. Now you're going to write 3 sentences of your own using infinitives. Try using them in different ways. For example, in one sentence, you might make the infinitive the subject, like the one we just did. To walk seemed foolish, or excuse me, to wait seemed foolish. The next one, you might try to make it a direct object. Okay? She loved to swim. She is the subject. Loved is what she did. Who or what did she love? To swim. That's the direct object. Okay? So use the samples in the chart to help you. We're going to share some of our sentences at the beginning of class tomorrow. Once you finish this part, now it's time for your worksheet. So I've given you this assignment. It's verbals review. It starts with gerunds, so it's going to go through your whole notes. So you have a gerund section here where you will identify the gerund. Remember, they always end in ing. Or the gerund phrase, keeping a light on in the house is a gerund phrase here. And so you're going to identify what it does. So in this sentence, keeping a light on in the house helps discourage robbers. Keeping a light on is the subject of this sentence. So if I were doing this, I would label this subject. You're going to continue down through that. Remember, I've put this chart with the information on this chart up on the Google Classroom stream. So if you need like the direct object help, again, it's up there. Okay. All right, so there are 15 questions about gerunds. Then you have participles. Participles are words that end in ing, present participles, or past participles in an ed, en, d, t, or n. They function as adjectives. So first you're going to fill out this chart where you are going to, you're going to take your verb and you're going to make the present participle with the ing on it. You're going to make the past participle, trained in this case, has ed on the end of it. Okay? You're going to fill out the chart with all the verb forms here. Then you're going to practice some participles. So down here we have either present or past participles. You're going to circle the participle, and on this line over here, you're going to write the word that it's modifying. So it says the burning building. So burning is what I would circle. Okay? Building is what I would write over here because it's describing what it is. In this case, it ends in ing, so that is a present participle. All right, present participles versus gerund is the next section. Remember, they're both ing words. So all of these sentences have an ing word. You're going to circle the ing word first, and then you are going to write what it is. Is it a gerund or is it a present participle on the line below it for these? And finally, our new topic, infinitives. Remember, infinitive is to plus a verb. So what you're going to do is you are going to circle the infinitive phrase. Infinitive or infinitive phrase. So like his goal was to succeed. So you'll circle to succeed. And then you're going to label on the line below what it's functioning as. So is it a noun? So is it a subject, predicate nominative, or direct object? Is it an adjective or an adverb? In this case, his goal equals to succeed. So I would circle to succeed. And down here, because I'm saying that those things, I'm saying that those things are linked together, I'm going to call this a predicate nominative because I'm saying that his goal is the subject, was is a linking verb saying his goal equals to succeed. And finally, additional practice. You still have to do it though. All the verbals in this paragraph are underlined. Above each one, I want you to identify what is it. It is a gerund, a present participle, a past participle, or an infinitive. The first one has been done for you, meaning that bored here, and I'm going to label it next to it, is a past participle. Okay, it's your turn. If you do not finish today, that is fine. You will have a chance to finish tomorrow in class, and we're going to go over some of these to make sure that we're prepared for the test. All right, I'll see you guys on Tuesday.